Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another video here on the channel. It's another one that's going to be about trophies, PlayStation trophies. And this video is going to be me sitting down and briefly talking about all of my Platinum trophies I currently have, because I don't really have a video where I do that. I mean, technically I do, because on my second channel, I do have a video where I talk about my entire PlayStation trophy collection, if you will. But that one is a really long video, and I know people won't necessarily want to hear me talk about the entire thing. I'll leave a link in the description to it if you want to check it out. But I don't have like a shorter, more concise video about that, and I'm going to try to make this that idea. And on top of that also, because my recent video where I sat down and talked about Platinums that I want to get, that I fear I never will, is actually... that video is actually doing really well for me, and I'm really excited about that. So it made me want to do this on a whim. So with that being said, let's get into it. So my first Platinum trophy came on December 27th, 2014, around a year after getting my PS3, and that was for the PS3 edition of Sly Cooper 1, Sly Cooper the Thievius Raccoonus. It was a game that I had started playing on the PS2 a few years earlier. I really liked it, completed it there, well, finished it there. Technically, I didn't do the Master Thief sprints on the PS2 version, and I wouldn't for this version either, because it's not required for the Platinum. But I finished it on the PS2, I got the Sly Collection for Christmas this same year, and I finished the first game in just a couple of days, and reminded myself just why I love the Sly series with finishing the first game again and getting the first Platinum. And then shortly after that, a month later, I got Sly 2 Band of Thieves, the PS3 version's Platinum trophy as well. And more of the same as the first one there. I also played Sly 2 on the PS2. I never finished it, funnily enough, but I finished it for the first time here with the HD collection, and I have since finished it again with the recent PS4 and PS5 release, which we'll talk about later. And then my third Platinum came a month later on February 24th, 2015, and that was the game WWE 2K14. Like I said in my recent video, I've been a wrestling fan for basically all of my life, and this was a very special game to me at the time, and I ended up telling my parents I didn't want 2K15 because all the wrestling game creators at the time were saying that the good version, quote-unquote, of that game would only be on the PS4 and Xbox One. So I said, well, if the good version was only available on a console I didn't have, then I'll just stick with 2K14 for another year. I did. I put even more time into it, had a great time, and it's a game I still look back fondly on to this day. And it was something that I knew I wanted to get when I realized it was doable. So I did it. I cleaned up what I didn't have and got that Platinum trophy. And then my fourth Platinum, we skip another 2 years to July 2nd, 2017, where I finally cleaned up and finished the PS3 version of Jak and Daxter and the Precursor Legacy. And this game is interesting to me because, again, I started on the PS2 a lot. Even before I owned it on the PS2 and I was actually able to rent it from my then local library, I checked the game out a lot. I started it so many times on the PS2, started it on the PS3, but I never finished it until I eventually went back to clean it up in the summer of 2017. But it's a game I love, just like with the Sly series, and I also love the Ratchet series. Of course, those three core platformer trilogies on the PS2. I love them all. And I eventually want to remake a video I did back in early 2015 or late 2014, one of the two. I did a video where I ranked the trilogies plus Thieves in Time, and that video is really bad. It is not available to watch anymore. It is privated on my channel, but I want to remake that video because I still like the idea, so eventually I will do that. But that was my fourth Platinum in July of 2017, followed up by my fifth Platinum, which is actually my favorite game, and that is the first Life is Strange, the PS4 version of the game, that is. And I had never really played a game like it before. I hadn't really ever played walking sims or point and clicks or anything like that. Like the closest to like narrative driven games I had played would be Uncharted and The Last of Us, to be honest. And I like those a lot. But I had never played something quite like Life is Strange before, and for whatever reason, I saw it sitting on my sister's game shelf at the time in late 2017. And I just liked the look of the case, actually, or something like that. Like, I don't remember if it was that or she recommended it or something, but I saw it there, and I borrowed it, and then less than a week later, I had finished it, coming home from school and playing an episode a day and loving every bit of it. I was hooked. I couldn't stop playing it. I looked forward to getting home and being able to experience each new episode, and I just fell in love with it. And I've talked about this before, but I do think Life is Strange, the first one that is, I think I played it at the perfect time because, I was getting into my later years in high school at the time. It was also at a time where I was finding it hard to be consistent with YouTube and uploading, despite me loving this and having the passion for it. As well as that, just it being, this was the start really of it being significantly harder to make time with my best friend, Tyson, who's been on the channel plenty of times. It being harder to make time with him, to get together, hang out, record, stuff like that. So yeah, I think I played the game at also the perfect time for me. It was just like what I needed at the time, and I didn't even know it. But yeah, I fell in love with the game, and I got the platinum less than a week later, earning that on November 11th, 2017. Then a few months later, I would get the platinum for Uncharted Drake's Fortune Remastered. That popped on March 7th, 2018. I'd played the Uncharted trilogy in 2015. I want to say after I first saw the trailer for Uncharted 4, not the E3 trailer, because I don't remember actually seeing the video of the demo not working and the guy just standing there. I don't remember seeing that, but I do remember seeing a trailer that showed off like the convoy chase specifically from a little bit later in the game, like the same chapter but a little bit later on. I remember seeing that, or I want to say after seeing that inspired me to play the games, the trilogy. So I played Uncharted 1, 2, and 3 very quickly in the build-up to it, But I ended up just putting the games on easy, experiencing those stories to get ready for Uncharted 4, and then I would play Uncharted 4 later. Yeah, in early 2018, I would get the Nathan Drake collection, and I would very quickly get the platinum for both Drake's Fortune and Uncharted 2 as well, back to back. And yeah, that just cemented how much I love the games. Though, admittedly, I've talked about this before, it's a hot take. I've always had a bit of an issue with Uncharted 2 shooting, and it just doesn't feel as good to me, and I can't explain it. I really can't. But yeah, I do have an issue with the shooting mainly in Uncharted 2. It just doesn't feel as good to me, and it makes the game less enjoyable because of that. But it's still a great game, and it does improve on everything from Drake's Fortune. I will admit that. Regardless, I got both of those very quickly after, back to back, with, like I said, Drake's Fortune Remastered popping on March 7th, 2018, and Uncharted 2 popping 10 days later, March 17th, 2018. And then around the same time, shortly after this, the PS Plus free games would be Ratchet & Clank and Bloodborne, the Ratchet & Clank 2016 game. So I had already played it before, and had 100%ed it. But I didn't do that on my accounts, and I didn't own the game. So when I got the chance to have the game through PS Plus, like I said, I redeemed it, and I played it again. I had a very good time with it. On a gameplay level, it is so fun. It is just like the Ratchet & Clank goodness. I am one of the people that has an issue with the way that they honestly just kind of butcher the story of the original game. But again, that's a bit of a different conversation. But I still enjoyed the gameplay enough to stick with it, play through it, and get the platinum for it. Though, I will say, fuck the Groovatron. And also, in the same month, just a day later actually, I would finish a Let's Play I was doing on the channel of Jak and Daxter: The Precursor Legacy, the original PS4 release for it. I had started that quite a few months earlier, and I eventually finally sat down and finished that LP, shortly after deciding to rebrand the channel to The Geeky Comrade, actually. Little fun fact. So I did that, finished the LP a day later after earning the platinum in Ratchet & Clank 2016. And yeah, I still love the game, so I platinumed it again. Less than a month later, just a couple of weeks later, August 4th, 2018, I would get the platinum for Uncharted 4, finally going back to clean that up. And again, I had a great time with that. I love this game. It's not my favorite, mind you, but I do love Uncharted 4 a lot. And I knew I had to get the platinum for it. And then, a little bit later in the month, August 25th, I would get the platinum for Uncharted The Lost Legacy, which is another game I love so much. And I genuinely, in terms of a trophy list, Lost Legacy is my favorite one. I love the trophy list for it a lot. It takes the Uncharted trophy list, which I already liked quite a bit, and it just does some other cool things that the other games didn't do. And I like that. But again, Lost Legacy, very good game, very enjoyable. I knew I was going to get the platinum for it, and I actually wanted to do it right after Uncharted 4 because Lucy, from aka Ludi XP, I remember her talking about how she wanted to save Uncharted 4 for her 100th platinum, but then she also wanted to get Lost Legacy as her 101st. And I thought, that's a really funny idea, so I ended up doing it for Uncharted 4, which was my 10th platinum, and then Lost Legacy became my 11th. I don't know, I thought that was really funny, so I did it also. But then a year later, I would get the platinum in Life is Strange Before the Storm, the prequel to the first game. And it's a game that I like, but I don't like it as much as any of the Don't Nod titles. I think it's fine, but to be fair, I think I also like True Colors a bit more as well. But Before the Storm is fine. I do like the game quite a bit, actually. But yeah, I knew, obviously, I loved the Life is Strange series, and Life is Strange really helped introduce me to this style of a game. So yeah, I knew I was going to get Before the Storm. I started it in 2018, but then I went back to clean up the collectibles in 2019, what I didn't get in the first playthrough. And then in August of that same year, 2019, I would get the Until Dawn Platinum. Similarly to the last one, I got it earlier and would finally go back to clean up what I didn't do. So I'd get the rest, I would do a run where I'd get the rest of the collectibles, and I actually had to do 2 more playthroughs. Because my first playthrough, I would keep half of them alive. One where I saved all of them and one where I killed all of them. But it was a lot of fun, actually. I love Until Dawn. Great horror game. I think even if you're not a fan of the horror genre, you should still play this game. It's a lot of fun. Especially if you have other people playing with you, people who maybe don't even know the game. A lot of fun, for sure. Later in that same month, on August 31st, I would finally go back to Uncharted 3 Remastered and get that platinum. Why that one took a year later after getting the Nathan Drake collection and starting the game, I don't know. I can't give you a good reason. I like Uncharted 3. I don't think it's the best Uncharted game. It does do some cool things. I like it a lot, and I think it does do some things better than the rest of the series. But as a whole package, it's not the best, but it's still a very good game. If you like Uncharted or you like games in that style, you should still play it for sure. And that's what I did. Cleaned it up in August of 2019, getting the Platinum Trophy. And then, for my 15th Platinum, I would end up getting the Platinum Trophy for my very first wrestling game ever, SmackDown vs. Raw 2010. It's a game that I had played so much as a kid growing up with the PS2 version, and it's a game that means so much to me now. I literally owned 3 copies of the game. The PS2 version that I had as a kid, the same copy, then the PS3 version, and now I also own it for the 360. Regardless, I love this game. It holds such a special place in my heart. It always will. And yeah, I knew that I wanted to get the platinum for it because it's one of few wrestling games that you can get the platinum for. It's entirely offline. And then a month later, I would platinum the game WWE 2K19, which is another game that I love. And it's also my my rarest platinum, sitting at a 0.76% rarity on PlayStation Profiles. Only 669 people who are on PSN Profiles have the platinum for the game. I love this game. It is the best simulation style WWE game ever. There's other better games that do the sim style, but this is the best sim style WWE game. It's a great game. I do think it's a tad overrated, actually. But, again, different conversation. But I do stand by that. But it's a game I love, and I played it so much throughout the year that it had been released to that point. So I knew I was going to get it. And basically a year from the early release of the game, I got the platinum, and that felt very good. And that popped on October 6th, 2019. And then a few months later, I would finally go back and clean up the platinum for Spider-Man 2018. And yeah, what can I say about this game that hasn't been said? It is a brilliant game, and it's got a phenomenal achievement list. This game and its trophies are so good that even people who don't give a fuck about achievements went out of their way to get the platinum for this game, and I think that says a lot. Followed up later that same year with the remake of SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom. And this one was a game I knew I was going to get just because I grew up with SpongeBob. I knew of Battle for Bikini Bottom. I didn't grow up with the game. I didn't play it as a kid. I have no nostalgia towards the original. But it's a game genre that I love with the 3D platformer and the collectathon. I grew up with the early seasons of SpongeBob. Battle for Bikini Bottom is a love letter to the early seasons of SpongeBob. I knew I was going to get the game, had a great time with it, enjoyed my playthrough all the way through, and earned it quickly after buying the game. So yeah, that platinum was very fun and enjoyable. And then we skip forward a couple of years where I wouldn't do a whole lot with platinum earning. I was still cleaning up some other games on my trophy list, and I was still playing games. I didn't do a whole lot with earning platinums or trophies in general. And my next platinum would be February 19th, 2022, where I would finally start and finish very quickly the PS4 version of Jak 2. And it's a game where I played half of it in the PS3 version. I played probably about the same, maybe a little less with the PS2 version. Started the PS4 version, had a great time, struggled significantly less than I imagined I would. Like, I fully expected to struggle a lot. Parts that I struggled with back in the day, I did not struggle with in this version at all. I was super surprised, but I took it. Like I said, I had a good time, and it was just a really enjoyable platinum. And I was very surprised. And then my 20th platinum would be the remake of Spyro 1, which I would earn just a few days later, February 23rd, 2022. And again, what can I say about the first Spyro? It's a great collectathon 3D platformer. It's just nice, relaxing. Who doesn't love being a cute purple dragon running around burning things and collecting gems? It's just a brilliant time all the way through. And then on the same day, February 23rd, 2022, I would finally finish my Evil Karma playthrough of Infamous Second Son. And I would do that and get the platinum for that game as well. Again, I like Infamous quite a bit. I'm a big fan of Sucker Punch in general. They're definitely one of my favorite developers, period. I do think Second Son is the weakest Infamous, though. Funny enough, it's also the only one I have platinumed. But I do think it's the weakest of the series, for sure. I think both Cole games are better. And then I also think First Light is... Well, we get a much shorter story for First Light, but the story we get, I like a lot in First Light. So yeah, I think I enjoyed that a little bit more as well. Is that a hot take? I don't know. Either way, Second Son is still a great game, incredibly fun. I do like the story they tell with Delsin. And yeah, I felt really good about getting the Evil Karma playthrough finished up. Though, Delsin is nothing but an asshole in the Evil Karma playthrough. Like, he is. And two, I don't know why, but I actually found the game harder, like more difficult with the Evil Karma, which everyone says is the opposite. They say you should save your expert playthrough for your Evil Karma playthrough because the evil Karma powers are more chaotic and they're easier to use, and it just makes the game easier. But I don't know, I found that to be the opposite for me. I got through the expert run with the good Karma really easily. But yeah, I don't know, that was weird, but I still had a good time with Infamous Second Son, and that was my next platinum. And then we skip down to July 10th, 2022, where I would actually end up playing Astro's Playroom for the first time. Not on my own PS5, but on a different PS5. But I played the game on my account for the first time that day. And oh my god, what a brilliant introduction to the PS5. I love Astro's Playroom so much. Again, I think it is significantly more than just a tech demo. It truly is just its own game, but shorter. It's so good. There's so much there, so much love and passion put into it. Unless you just don't like collectathons at all, I highly recommend Astro's Playroom being your first PS5 Platinum. And then my next one after that would be in the same month, July 24th, 2022 to be exact, where I would finally finish up the last little bit that needed to be cleaned up in Sly Cooper Thieves in Time. And you know, this is a game that I've talked about it a little bit before. I like Thieves in Time. I look at Thieves in Time in a very similar way to how I look at Ratchet & Clank 2016. Where, like, I love the gameplay. I think it's just so fun to play. But the story is significantly weaker than the Sly trilogy. And at this point, I do honestly think continuing the Sly series was just a mistake. And it kind of undermines the whole, like, thematic nature of Sly 3. Regardless, I did still enjoy Thieves in Time, and I decided to clean it up finally and get the Platinum there. And then in the next month, August 3rd, 2022, I would finally go back and clean up the Platinum for the PS3 version of Ratchet & Clank Up Your Arsenal. And then a month later, I would also clean up the Platinum for Ratchet & Clank Going Commando. I've always liked Ratchet & Clank. Again, those were some of the first of those games that I played, actually, to be honest. And I enjoyed going back through the games to clean them up. But I don't know what it was. I didn't really enjoy cleaning them up as much as I thought I would. Which makes me wonder if I even like them as much as I used to. I don't know. That's a really interesting conversation, I guess. But it does make me interested in actually going back and starting the games up for the first time again. Because I haven't done that in a long time. So maybe starting up a fresh save and experiencing them for the first time in a while, maybe that'll kind of like give me a renewed interest in them that I didn't really have when I cleaned them up. Because I just went back to my old PS3 save files when I cleaned them up. So I don't know, maybe that'll happen at some point, we'll see. But then after that, I ended up getting the Platinum for SpongeBob the Cosmic Shake, which is a spiritual successor to Battle for Bikini Bottom, running off of the same engine from the remake of the game. And yeah, I thought this game was great. It was a great new SpongeBob game. You could tell Purple Lamp genuinely does love both SpongeBob and Battle for Bikini Bottom. And yeah, I thought it was such a good time. And then we skip down to December, where I earned 2 Platinums, one after the other, a day apart as well. On Christmas Eve 2023, I would earn the Platinum for The Last of Us Part 1, the remake of the game, and that was a lot of fun to revisit that game because it had been a while. And then a day later, I would finally finish my playthrough and clean up the Platinum for Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. And I thought it was okay. I enjoyed it more than the 2016 game, and I enjoyed playing that a little bit more than when I was going back to clean up 2 and 3. But I do think it's a bit forgettable, but it's still fun. Because at this point, I think every Ratchet & Clank game will be fun. But I did end up cleaning that up on Christmas Day 2023. And then in July 2024, July 2nd, 2024 to be exact, I did a whole playthrough that is not up on the channel. I've got all that footage that I've been slowly editing, but I recorded my entire run through of getting the Platinum in the PS4 and PS5 version of Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. It had been a long time since I had played the first Sly game, so revisiting it all those years later was such a good time. I loved every second of the replay through. I love the new trophy list. It's trophy list, and this also goes for the PS4 and PS5 version of 2 and 3 as well. The new Sly trophy lists are so much better than the PS3 lists. They're so good, so well crafted. I love them so much. It was such a joy to get the Platinum for this game in July of 2024, as well as platinuming both 2 and 3's PS4 and PS5 versions, which we'll talk about in a minute. But yeah, such a good time. I loved going for that. And that footage of me getting that, I plan on releasing in 2 different videos, one on my second channel, which will be basically like the whole playthrough of me getting it. I'll edit that down into something more watchable. But as well as that, I want to do a more like Adam McDermott Platinum Journey style video. I don't know how exactly that'll come out, but I want to do something in that vein for this game because I love the game so much and I love the list as well. So I've been working on both of those slowly in the background, and eventually those will come out. Shortly after that, in September of that year, September 10th, I would earn the Platinum Trophy for Astrobot. And I love this game so much. I mean, my whole journey with playing through this game, experiencing it for the first time, and cleaning it up for the Platinum Trophy, as well as DLC, that is literally all on the channel already. You can check those out, link in the description to the series playlist. But yeah, this game was such a joy. I loved it so much, and I still frequently go back to the game just to play it because I love it. I highly recommend Astrobot for sure. And then later that same month, I would play The Grinch Christmas Adventures. And look, the game is jank as all hell, but there's a good time underneath the jank. Also, I'm a sucker for How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I like that story, and yeah, I had a good time with it. In the next month, I would get a couple more. October 5th, I would get the Platinum Trophy for What Remains of Edith Finch. Now, I had already played through the game and had even gone back to play it again and clean up the 100% list for the PS4, but for whatever reason, I just wanted to play the game again. I had learned that apparently when the PS5 came out, Giant Sparrow made a platinum list for the PS5 version. And as long as you owned the game or had it through PS Plus, you have access to both versions. So I said, I want to play the game again. The PS5 version of it has a trophy list, or has a trophy list with a platinum. Yeah, why not? And I had a great time. I love this game. I highly recommend playing this game. It's a walking sim that does a little bit more with the genre. I love every single character's death scene. That's a weird way to phrase that. But experiencing every Finch family member's death scene, it moved me. And there's one near the end. It's a very short game, but there's one family member's death scene near the end of the game that I think you should play. If you played the game, you know what I'm talking about already. But for sure, there's one that you need to play. Holy hell, it's a lot. But yeah, love this game, and I've been genuinely obsessed with the game since I played it for the first time. That I've just been taking in as much like content around the game as I can. I love it. I highly recommend it. But then October 29th, I also decided I wanted to revisit the game Lost Words Beyond the Page, and this is another game that I love. It is a 2D puzzle platformer, basically, and yeah, I loved it. It's got 2 very distinct gameplay styles. One where you're playing this 2D puzzle platformer in this fantasy world, but then you have another one where you're controlling this tiny little sprite character that's on like the pages of a young girl's diary, as she's telling like her real life story in her little girl mind as she's experiencing them, you know? I love the game so much. I first played it because it was free on Game Pass, and I loved it so much that I ended up buying it on PlayStation to support the devs because I loved it so much. And then I just decided I wanted to play it back in October last year. So I did, and I got the platinum done in a day, and yeah, it was great. Highly recommend this game as well, absolutely. But then December 7th, 2024, I would finally go back and clean up the collectibles in Life is Strange 2. Highly recommend this game as well. Well, do I? Yes, I do, but I also do not want this game to ever get super big in popularity, because I am someone who's very nervous about the recent announcement of the Life is Strange TV show. I'm very nervous about it, and oh, I do not want anything bad to happen to the story of the Wolf Brothers, please. In some ways, I almost think it might be better to gatekeep Life is Strange 2. I'm not going to do that. I do think you should play it for sure. Yes, please. I finally cleaned that up in December 7th, 2024, and then a day later, I would finish up the Life is Strange PS3 version, because for as much as I love the Life is Strange series, I realized, looking at PSN profiles, that, if there was ever a series that I could platinum every single game that I would want to do that for, it would be Life is Strange. I looked up how to get the PS3 version of Life is Strange, and found out it was only released digitally on the PS3 and 360. So I did what I could to do the annoying workaround of loading money onto your PS3 account or loading money into your PSN wallet, and then being able to use that on the PS3. It's an annoying process now. It's not fun, but I did it and got the PS3 version of the game, where I then got the platinum for it. Experiencing that first game again for the first time in a while. And again, I still love it just as much as I did when I first played it. It's still my favorite game. Love it. Followed up by me finally finishing the platinum for The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. So, with this game, I wasn't originally thinking about getting it, to be honest, because, like, why would I? And I didn't pay full price for it. I did not. But like they have done with, like, most of their upgrade paths, they did the $10 free upgrade if you already own the game previously, so I did that. I decided that would be how I experienced the game for my second playthrough. I did that, and every time I played through the game, I've done it 3 times now, I think. I've just learned more, I've understood it more, and yeah, I think it is a great game. I still stand by it's not better than the first, but I do like it a lot, and I do think... I stand by, I don't think the story is better than the first, but on a gameplay level, everything is improved here. And I was happy to finally get the platinum for a version of Part 2. And then after that, a few days later, December 29th, I would clean up and finish the platinum trophy for College Football 25, EA's first college football game in 11 years. And I also was not going to get this game because I don't like sports anymore, at all. But I just thought, oh, well, I'm just morbidly curious on if EA can even make a even remotely enjoyable sports game again. And the answer for College Football 25 is kind of. I thought it was okay, and the only reason I got the platinum was just because the platinum is easy as hell. So I had already put it on the list, and it's like, oh, this is pretty easy. And I don't hate the game, so I went for it. Would I do it again? No. No, I wouldn't. Did I get 26? No. No, I didn't. And I won't. And I won't play it. But 25 was okay at best. That being said, we start 2025, the year we're in currently, and on January 11th, I would get the platinum for the PS5 version of Sly 3 Honor Among Thieves. And this playthrough is so interesting because for the longest time, I had considered Sly 2 to be my favorite of the Sly games. And I don't know what it was, but I started Sly 2's PS5 version before starting Sly 3's, and I just wasn't enjoying it as much as I did back in the day. So I put it down in Rajan's second level and then came back to Sly 3, or started Sly 3 for the first time in years. And from the beginning, I just had such a good time with it. By the time I reached the end and I got the platinum, Sly 3 genuinely became my favorite Sly game. I love this game, even more than I already did, but this is my favorite Sly game now. I love it so much. But also, brilliant trophy list, very good. And then, if we want to talk about hot takes again, February 13th this year, I would get the platinum in Saints Row 2022, and I actually had a good time with it. I don't know, I expected the game to be such a dumpster fire. I expected it to be, still a buggy game, glitchy as all hell, not very good, and I don't know, there was something about it that just worked for me. I had a good time. And I liked how it wasn't as wacky as like Saints Row 4, but it wasn't as serious as like the first two. You know, so I don't know. I enjoyed the reboot or whatever it was supposed to be. You know, I enjoyed it, actually. I completely understand why people don't like it, especially previous Saints Row fans. Completely understand. But as someone who didn't have, like, a huge connection to the previous games, I enjoyed this. But also, maybe it's because I don't play a lot of open world games, so some of, like, the gameplay systems and stuff didn't feel, like, tedious or anything to me. Like, I wasn't burnt out on open world games. That maybe also played a factor. I don't know. But yeah, I enjoyed it. And then March 2nd, 2025, I would get the platinum for Lake, which, I don't know, also, just ended up being a really enjoyable, relaxing game about being a mail carrier in a small town in Oregon. And it ended up being, like I said, this super relaxing game. May 17th, 2025, I got the platinum for The Suicide of Rachel Foster, and, don't play this game. Don't? Oh. So it's a walking sim that actually does some cool, unique things for the walking sim genre. Those things I like. But the story is just fucked. Yeah, the story is fucked. There are other people on this platform that have talked about why the story is so fucked up that I'm not going to get into it here. That's not the purpose of the video. Don't play this game. Don't play this game. Regardless, we move on quickly to May 22nd, 2025. So a little bit earlier in the year, I was just getting the itch to play something like Battle for Bikini Bottom again. So I started the PS5 version of Cosmic Shake. And I had even more fun than the first time, actually. Yeah, I had even more fun. I enjoyed going through it again. And yeah. And then I went back and cleaned up the PS5 version of Jak and Daxter and the Precursor Legacy. I've platinumed the game 3 times. I know. This is an example of an older game getting a re-release onto the PS4 and the PS5 through the new PlayStation emulator being worked on by implicit conversions. It's a game in that circumstance that I actually don't like the new trophy list. There are interesting ideas, but number one, it doesn't do enough different from the previous trophy list to really warrant the change. And also, the previous list for the PS3 and the original PS4 release perfectly guided you to get the platinum with its list, and I thought that was super cool. And yeah, the new list doesn't do enough that's different to warrant the change, and they have some cool miscellaneous trophies, but I also wish that they would have just gone further with the idea of having really cool miscellaneous trophies in the game. You know what I mean? I wish they went further with that idea, and I wish they would have done stuff like, I don't know, make it through the whole arena in Misty Island without taking a hit. Or gather all 200 pounds of fish for the fishermen in the Forbidden Jungle without missing one. Stuff like that, you know, stuff that is doable but really challenging, I think would have been a way better call than slightly tweaking the original list with a couple of cool ideas, you know? I don't know. I don't love this list. I prefer the original version of it, actually. Then on June 12th of this year, I would finally, after 11 years, go back and finish the Platinum Trophy for the PS3 version of Ratchet & Clank 1. I would finally, after 11 years, clean that up, and I did that. That is actually documented in a video on the channel, so you can check that out as well. So yeah, that felt really good to finally do that. I actually did a whole nother playthrough to do it, because I had to, because my original PS3 is completely broken at this point, so I had to get another PS3 at some point, and I've done that. But I had to replay the whole game. And that was a lot of fun, actually. I struggled more than I ever thought I would. That wasn't fun. But overall, the process was fun. So yeah, that was cool. And you can check out the last moments of me getting the platinum on the channel. So yeah. As well as that, you can check out the last moments of me getting the platinum for the PS4 version of The Last of Us Part 2 on the channel. And yeah, I knew once I got remastered that I did want to go back and clean up the PS4 version as well, and I finally did that, doing my third playthrough and cleaning up what was left. And again, I had a good time with it. And then on August 10th of this year, I was scrolling through the PlayStation Store, and I saw a logo called Fire and Water. And right away, I recognized the font as being similar to an old Flash game that I played in school called Fireboy and Water Girl. And I thought, oh, hey. So I clicked on it, saw the screenshots, and I'm like, oh, this is literally just Fireboy and Water Girl. That's awesome. Getting a chance to play one of those games again for the first time in a while felt really cool. I enjoyed that. But wow, you can tell whoever did this did not care about achievements at all. They didn't. You get a trophy for starting level 1, and then every level you complete, you get a trophy until you've completed level 11 to unlock level 12, and then once you do that, you'll get the platinum. So yeah, they did not care about the plat at all. They did not care about trophies at all. That was a damn shame, and I really wanted more from it that I did not get. So that sucked. Next up is my most recent platinum, my 47th platinum, and that was me going back and finishing up my playthrough on the PS5 version of Sly 2 Band of Thieves. And I like the game still. I like the game a lot. But for me, I would put Sly 3 above Sly 2 now. But Sly 2 is still a brilliant game. I love it so much. And yeah, that was still a great time to go through, play that game again, and get the platinum for it with a much better trophy list as well. But yeah, so that was that. That was me going through all 47 of my current platinum trophies in a video. And this video currently is almost an hour long in raw footage, so we'll see if I can make that a bit shorter and make this video a little bit shorter, a little more concise. But that's all I got for today. I hope you enjoyed me going through all of my platinums that I currently have at the time of recording. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, comment down below, share it on social media, do all that good stuff, and until next time, I'll see you later. Bye, guys.